In this video, we are going to learn how to create and implement a 3-layer architecture for our project in ASP.NET MVC. There is some difference between the 3 layers application and 3-tier applications. We call an application 3 layers if all the 3 layers are deployed in the single servers. However, if they are in different physical server, then it would be considered as 3-tier. In 3-tier application, your application layer, data access layer and business layer would be in 3 different servers. So in that 3 layers architecture, first one is that your presentation layer, second one is that logical layer, and third one is that your data layer. First need to understand what is the layer. A layer is a reusable portions of code that perform a specific functions. So let's start one by one. So first I am going to create that your 3-layer project. First open that create the new project. Select that one blank application. First I am going to select that we have blank application. Other project type, Visual Studio. This one is a blank solution. Okay, so this one will be the 3 layers application. Okay, click on OK. Now your blank solution has been created. Once you are going to open the Solution Explorer, click here. That is a 3-layer application, one blank solution. Now first I am going to add one layer, that is create a new project. Here I am going to select that your class library, this one, that is class library. I am going to give the name that is business logic. Okay, business logic. Click on OK. Now you can see that first project has been added. So I'm going to delete this class file, delete that. Next I'm going to add one more project, that is a class library project. This one I'm going to give the name business objects. Click on OK. Now second one also it has deleted that default class. Now next one is your data access layer. Add new project, that this one will be your data access. Click on OK. And last one is that your MVC project. So go to the web ASP.NET MVC application, show web app user. Click on OK. Select empty MVC. Click on OK. So this one is your presentation layer. Not all those is created. This one is a presentation layer. That web app user, if you will make that close all those. So this one web app user, this one is a MVC application. This is called that presentation layer. And this one is your data access layer. But if you will look that business logic and business object, this both will call that your business layer. So first need to understand what is a data access layer. So that contains method that helps the business layer to connect the data and perform required action, whether to return or to manipulate data, insert, update, delete, and so on. Okay. Second one is your business layer. So a business access layer contains business logic, validation or calculation related to the data. Okay. This one is that your presentation layer. Okay, we have to use this one. I'm going to make a default. So right click and set as a default. I'm going to make that set as a startup page. Okay. Now first I'm going to start with going to create the database. So open that your SQL server and right click, create the new database. That is a new database. This one I'm going to place user DB. Just click on OK. Now I'm going to create one table. Just I'm going to add one table so we can understand what actually is 3-layer architecture is working. So here I am going to add user ID, make it integer. Okay, so it will be the username, make it 150 only. Okay, so user address, this one also you can make the 50. Okay, user email, okay, this one also will make it 50. Okay, and one more I'm going to add, that is a mobile number, or you can write like a user mobile, that's all. Okay, 50. This now going to create the table, so users, and that identity column will be the user ID. Now you can see the table has been created with that users. Right click and refresh, open the table, you can see that this one is the user table. Okay, that is done. Now open the Visual Studio. First I am going to create that object. So here I am going to add the one class, going to give the name, this one will be the user business object. Okay, click on add. Here I am going to add some properties. First one is that your user ID. Okay, then your username, then user address, after that user email, and then last one is that user phone. That's all. Now next one is that to add that data access layer. In the data access layer, just delete this default class and add that entity model. So add new item data, select that .NET entity data model and go to give that user DB model. Click on add, then click on next. Now let's select the database, that is your user DB. Click on OK, next, yes sensitive, next, and select the tables. Click on finish. Now you can see that this entity from material ATMs file has been added. Click on OK. One more object need to add here, that is going to call, that is a custom message or custom that is a BO. Here need to add two things. First one is that from so integer, that is a custom message number or custom number, and second one is that custom message. And here this one make as a public. This one is also required. I will show you that one. Custom BO, that two class has been added. Next one, this objects need to add the reference in the data access layer. So add the reference of a data access layer. Add reference. First go to that your projects, and here need to add that your business object. Click on OK. So data in the data access layer, also in the business logic, also need to add that reference, that is a business object. Okay, that too is added. So I'm going to create one class file in the data access layer, add that class. So here it will be the user DAL. Okay, that one is a data access layer. So what we'll do, make this one is a public, going to create the constructor. Okay, so what's the entities? That is a user db entities. So it will be the user db entities. Create the variable of user db entities, and now I'm going to create the object of a user db entities. Okay, that's one. Next one, I'm going to add that it will return the custom bo. Okay, custom bo, which I have added this one, this in the business object. In that business object I have added that one class, that is a bo. It will return and add, you can say that, and user. That's all. In that I have add user, here I'm going to pass that is a user bo. So just let's call that user bo business object, then create the variable user bo. Okay, so what's the name of that table, that particular model? That is a user, this one. So create that object of a user db and new, that is user. So initialize the variable. First one is the user address, so this one will become this dot user address. The next one will be that email, so this one also is user email. The next one is that mobile, that user mobile, your phone. And next one is that username, because user id is the auto number, so it will be the username. That's all. Now in that entities, need to add dot users dot add, that is object user. Okay, now simple dot save changes. Okay, so that changes here, I'm going to create one variable, that is a int return value. If return value is greater than 0, then your custom message, it will be that create that object bj equal to new custom message. So it will be assigned dot custom message equal to data successfully added. The next one is that number, that is a custom message number, and to give equal to return value. Okay, else it will be same. I'm going to copy this one, or there is some problem, to add user. That's simple. And now I'm going to return that return will be this object. That's all. Okay, that is done. Simple. Now I need to add into business logic, that I'm going to call that your data access layer into that your business logic. So add the reference, add reference, and select the data access layer. Click on OK. Now here also need to create one class that is going to give the name, that is a user bl business logic. Okay, now here also need to make that one public and create that one method. Same method I'm going to call, same one. Same. Okay, so here it will be simple return that your business logic, this BADAL. Okay, import dot. Otherwise, if you want, you can create the new business logic dot your add user, or simple this one need to pass this particular value on single line, so it will be that return. Now this one, this user BL, I'm going to call into your presentation layer, that is your MVC application. Here also need to add the reference, here also need to add the two reference, that is a business logic and your business object. Now data access layer, click on OK. Okay, that too is added. Now I'm going to add the controller, add controller. So simple, I'm going to give add controller, select the MVC empty controller, add. Now give the name home controller. Now you can see the home controller has been added. Now I'm going to add the view, right click, add view, click on add. Now you can see that your view has been added. Okay, now open that. Now view has been added. So now here first need to return, it will return that one, that your object जो ये custom BO object. So I'm going to create one more action result. Okay, this action result, it will be the also the index, but it will come that custom BO. So this one, home controller, this add the reference obj your custom BO. Okay, that one also we are going to return that view, simple. Okay, now once that I will get that information, that custom BO object, so I have to add it, so I have to call that one your business logic. So user BL, go to the call here, user BL, and create the object of so BL equal to new user BL, and user BL dot add user, it will be that this need to pass. Sorry, this one is the user BO. It will be the user BO, the user BO business object. So this one need to pass here. Okay, this one it will return, and what it will be return, it will return that object. So what is that your object is that custom BO, this one. So create the object of a custom BO. So till here we will check. Now add into view, just call this user view into that index.cs HTML. So call that model, that user view, that import, that is done. So now use the using statement. So HTML dot begin form, so index, so the controller, then form method is that post. Okay, so inside that need to add some value. So div will be the class equal to container, the next will be the div class, this one will be the row. Okay, then again div, this one will be the class, that your form group. Okay, so here HTML dot label for model dot, first one is the username. Okay, the new HTML attributes, that is your class is equal to label, control label, that one. Now need to add one text box, just copy this one and paste it here. Instead of layer 4, it will be the text box 4, or that class, this one will be the form control. form control. Now I'm going to add the rest of them. I have added rest of them just like username, user address, user email and user phone, same like that. Now I'm going to add the button. So div, this one also it will be the class row, that same form group, okay. Inside that I'm going to add the button. So this one will be the input type, submit, then value, save, name, save, and class to button dash, that is a bootstrap primary. That's simple. Okay, that one. Now run the application. Let's see. One more thing need to be changed here, that is here it should make that HTTP post, otherwise you will get that ambiguity error. Now if you run the application, now you can see that the design has been ready. So next things what we will do that call that your object. So this two is that business logic and business object. This one is a business logic layer. Okay, so here in the business logic layer, what we can do here, that one, because we know that one a business logic layer or business access layer contains business logic, validation or calculation related to the data. So what we'll do here, validation. In the business object I will do that validation. So how we'll do that validation here, open the solution explorer. First you need to add the reference, that is your system dot component model dot data underscore, this one, add the reference here. And once you add the reference, call that here using system dot component model dot data annotation. Okay, so here if you will give the name, first I am going to give the name like a display, that will be the name, username, same like other. After username, this one is a user address, then user email and user phone. Okay, that phone. Okay, next one is that your required. So it will be the required, that error message will be the username is required. Same for other, address is required, email, phone, here phone. And next here, that one more things, that is a email address validation. Here that error message, please enter valid email address, valid email address. Okay, these things previously what we are doing in that MVC project. Now that validation part we are doing in your business logic layer, in the business logic layer. Okay, now open the index.cshtml. So here need to add that your error, that is a validation message for that, it will be the model dot username, next one will be the null, then new HTML attributes, so that class will be your text danger. Okay, text danger. I'm going to add for other. Now you can see that user address, user email and user phone is added. Now open the home controller. Here I'm going to write if model dot model state dot is valid, then this functionality should work. Otherwise, else, no, else is not required. Just add the reference, save it. Now I will run the application. Now you can check that your label name has been changed because of your data annotation that is changed. Okay, now I'm going to click on save. You can see that username is required, user address is required, user email is required, and user phone is required. That all things is required. That things we are doing in your business logic layer in the business. Okay, now first I'm going to add, just like I'm going to add that technician, username is that, user address is Bangalore. I'm going to add that your address gmail.com. now need to add the phone number. Just add some phone number. Now if you click, maybe you will get that error. See, you are getting that one error here. So what's the error is saying? Let's go to the view. There is saying that no connection string name user db entities could not be found in the application.config file. Means like that is checking that connection string, because once you are going to deploy, it will check only in that app config, in that your MVC project. It will not going to check here, it will check here. So what we'll do, just close the application and open that your data access layer, go to the app config file, okay, and just copy that your connection string. Just copy this connection string. Okay, this connection string we need to paste into that web config of MVC project. Open the here. Now if you will come to here, just paste it here. That is your connection string. Okay, now if you will run the application again, now enter some data like a technician, Bangalore, email address, and phone. Once you are going to click on save, you will get that one error again here. So you are getting that error into your data access layer. Okay, this one data access layer, you are getting the error while you are trying to save. So just close. You need to install that entity framework, because there is no entity framework. So just go to the data access layer, the manage NuGet package. Otherwise, just to install that one, go to the here, manage NuGet package manager, paste it here, this one, and select the entity framework. Okay, this one need to install. Click on I accept. Now if you look that one, first that entity framework has been added into data access layer. Okay, so next one I have installed entity framework into that your MVC project. So because once we are going to host that one, or it's going to be run, it will check this web config file. So in the web config file I have pasted that the connection string that is here, that user db entities, that is a connection strings. Okay, so now everything has been done. Now if you run the application, just if you will return this actually it's not required. I'm going to go redirect to action. Okay, so that same thing, index. Okay, same. Now if you run the application, open the SQL server. Here you will check that if data execute, there is no data. Now I will check into that web browser. I will try to add the data here. Add that Bangalore activation phone number is this. I will click on save. Let's see. Now open that browser. SQL Server. Here you can see the data has been saved. Now if you'll try to add some take tuition 2 or 4 and address and phone number. Phone number is 1. Click on save. No. Now you can see that data has been successfully saved. Okay. Now what I have done, just close. We have created first one. I have created the blank project. That is a 3-layer application. In that blank projects, I have added business logic, business object, data access. This 3 class library we have added. And then last one is that your presentation layer, that is your MVC. One is that your business logic. There I'm written here that logic here. First I will start with the data access layer. Here we have added that your entity framework, then user DAL. In the user DAL symbols, I am passing that this one is user object. This user object, user BO, that we have created in the business object here. You can see this one. And here that in the business object also that we have added that validation also. Okay, because in the business logic we can do the calculation and validation, that all things will be done in a business logic layer. Okay, so this one we have added that in the business object we have added the validation also. If you open that your data access layer here, that I'm passing that your object, that model, and that trying to save this data. Here I am saving the data. If it will return greater than 0, it will return that this error message. If it will equal to 0, then it will return that this error message, that is error message, because once it will be saved, it will return greater than 0 only. Okay, that is done. Now if you open that your business object or business layer, so only I am calling that one business access layer, your data access layer. In that in the business logic layer, I am calling that only data access layer. And same things we have call into, I have created that controller, that is a home controller, and so same thing I am assigning that value, that is a user BO, that it's coming from your view. In the index view, you are getting that one, that user BO, and that value I am passing to that your business logic layer. See, in the business logic, that add user, that I am passing that value. Now it's saving. 2 things we have to do that one. First one, that once you added that entity framework in the data access layer, same things you need to copy that connection into that web config also. Here also you need to add that connections. Okay. See, if you are doing that that particular layer, if you will work with a layer in the future, if someone asks to work as an Oracle, because now I'm using that your SQL server, but if your client will ask to work in a Oracle database, you have to use that Oracle database. So only you need to change the data access layer. Rest of the things is same. It will be the same, only you need to change with the data access layer, because that your connection, all those things will be happen in the data access layer. So only you need to replace this data access layer and it will work perfectly. Okay, so that's why we are using that one, that layer architecture. If you work with so if you will look that the business layer is the vital, in that A validates the input condition before calling a method from the data layer. This ensures the data input is correct before proceedings and can often ensure that the outputs are correct as well. Okay. Main advantage is that you reusable code, so you can your code will be reused. I hope it's clear. Thanks for watching.